and welcome to episode 18 of the Hub City Fibers podcast. My name is Lillian, and I am your host. I am also the independent dyer of yarn behind Hub City Fibers. I'm located in a location that used to be referred to as Hub City, which is New Brunswick, New Jersey, and that plays a little bit into also where my logo stands for, which is a queen logo that also stands for, or that also gives remembrance to old queens, which is where I started to dye yarn. So if you guys are ever wondering about my logo, that's just a little tidbit. I do have more information regarding like my brand and my logo on my Etsy page under the About Me segment. So if you guys ever want to check that out, definitely do. You could find me heavily using Instagram as @HubCityFibers. And you know, if you're into knitting and you're into the whole yarny lifestyle, then stick around. This is a good podcast where I talk a lot about what I'm making and what crafty adventures I'm going into next, and events and all that fun stuff related to the knitting community. Thank you to returning viewers. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. I know I am not as frequently posting as much as I want to, and I know I say that every episode, but I do try to put a podcast out every single month. My making's a little slower than most YouTubers or yarn knitting podcasts, just because this is something that I do part-time, and you know, I love it so much. Even though life could be a little hectic and a little crazy, I do really enjoy, you know, having this little yarn company and dyeing, and you know, being a part of this small niche community. And yeah, if you are about that, then definitely hit the subscribe button and hit a like button. And if you so happen to want to leave a comment too, that'd be awesome. So let's get into the podcast. This episode, I'm going to be talking about what I'm making, my trip to Barcelona and visiting a yarn shop in Barcelona. If you guys didn't already see from the beginning, there was some drone footage. My husband loves to shoot drone footage, so he definitely got some video of that in Barcelona. So that's what you saw earlier. If you didn't get a chance to check that out, then definitely check it out at the end. But yeah, let's get into the podcast. So I have been working on the husband sweater. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen that I've talked a lot about the husband sweater. And the sweater that I am making is the Rift pullover by Jared Flood. And guys, I am done with the body. And I'm gonna show you guys what the body looks like. And as tedious and as much trash that I talked about this garment and the making of this garment, I have to say the design is very classic and something that is gonna be heavily worn and thoughtfully designed. And I'm really happy with it. I'm using the same yarn that the designer Jared Flood uses to make, and that's Shelter, and it's an American Targhee Columbia wool, and it's a Brooklyn tweed wool, and I highly recommend anyone interested in working with woolier yarns to try their worsted weight. The reason why I love this brand so much is because it's all manufactured, produced, and dyed in the US. And you know, I know that, I don't know, I value like USA made things because I feel like you know where you're getting the product, you can pinpoint it, you can look into it, you can visit these places where each of these steps are happening, and I don't know, I think that's awesome. And you're helping to reduce environmental impact also because you're keeping manufacturing in the country where you live, which I think is really, really awesome. Yeah, so I think it's a pretty good yarn. It works really, really well with this sweater design, and I think it's knitting up really nice. So that's just the body, and the body's worked in the round at first and then split. And this body is living in my Toad Hollow bag that I got at Chelsea Yarns a while back. But that's not all the progress I have on this sweater. I am on Sleeve Island, and I'm super happy about that. I haven't picked it up yet just because life's been a little crazy, but I'm almost done with the first sleeve, and I was able to do, this was pretty much what I knit when I was away in Barcelona on the airplane. And yeah, I like to work with DPNs, and I'm working with the Clover DPNs that I picked up at, I was like shopping at Trader Joe's in the area, and right next door is a Michael's, and I was like, you know what, let me see if they have some DPNs. And they ended up picking up some Clover ones, which are actually really, really good. I'm a hit or miss when it comes to wood needles, but Clover is actually the most common brand of knitting needles used by the Japanese, or that are just mostly found in Japanese knitting stores and knitting shops. And like ever since then, like I really just respect Clover. I really love them, so highly recommend them. So I'm finishing up that sweater, I mean this sleeve, and I really hope I get it done before Rhinebeck, but it's looking like a no-go, but we'll see. I'm going to a couple of knitting events before then, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I could get it together and just finish both the sleeves. But I don't want to rush the process because I am now enjoying the process. So if you guys are not new around here, you guys probably know that all the crap I talked about this sweater, but it's coming together. I think it just needed to be in a timeout, and yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to like love it again and knit it again, because usually I'm like the type of person that once it goes on a timeout, like I don't want to see it ever again. So I'm glad that didn't happen. So that's all I've been working on knit wise. I do also have some hand spun to show you because I am a spinner, and it's just relaxing sometimes when you just don't want to think, to just go on the wheel and spin. So one of the yarns that I was working on was by this artist that is a dear friend of mine. His name is Max, and this is his bat that I got, that I spun into singles, and then I two-plied it because I'm really trying to work on my two-ply. So I think this is one of the first yarns that I feel like safe and is like super balanced. Like when I take it, I just took it off here, and honestly I'm supposed to wet it. By the way, if you don't know what this is, as a spinner, you need one of these. This is a Nitty Knotty, and it is essential for people that dye yarn like me and spinners like me now, because in order to make yard, this is how you're going to determine yardage and how you can make it into a really beautiful skein. So that's what I'm doing now. And by the way, anybody can make this. I'm pretty sure there's directions online on how to make a Nitty Knotty from PVC pipe. So if you're a budget-friendly person, you don't have to break the bank. Although, if anybody out there knows of a really good Nitty Knotty, I think it's time for me to upgrade, and I really want to get one that's going to last me, because obviously this hobby isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. But essentially, to make a skein from hand spun, you just take it off of the Nitty Knotty, and it's supposed to be a certain yardage, and I twist it only with one side. I twist it, and one way of twisting creates a look, and another way of twisting creates another look, if that makes any sense. But essentially that's what I do. Then I put it on my knee like a U, and you guys can't see this, but then it twists up really nicely, And then I just put it one loop through the other on the bottom. And I just adjust the twist. And now I can show you this yarn, not on a nitty knotty, and it's just better for the camera. So this was a beautiful blend. I'm so proud of this. This is probably the first real skein that I've made that is of like good quality. And I'm not just saying that, like, I just think it's a really well balanced yarn. Like I'm really trying to practice my, you know, with spinning, it's kind of like you have to do it in order to build skills. So I'm really happy with this really gorgeous bat that Max gave me, and it was South African merino, Cordell, and another, just other beautiful blends. I'm sure I've spoken about spinning this yarn. I'll try to remember. So that's what I was working on with my hand spun. I've also been working on this hand spun Falkland wool that I purchased. It's British, UK grown, UK grown Falkland sheep wool, and I dyed it this kind of like magenta color. And this is what it looks like in fiber form. It's kind of like a tonal. So there's darker bits, and there's pinky bits, and there's some white bits. So it creates kind of like this tonal end product. And I have a lot of this left, but I'm using my jumbo flyer. I'm using my jumbo flyer, and as you could see, this is taking up my jumbo flyer, my jumbo bobbin, I should say. And yeah, it's just really spinning up nicely, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to two-ply this as well, just because this is going to be just a mixture of different weights that I spun. It's very thick and thin. It's like no pressure, just do what you gotta do, whatever weight, whatever speed. And that's exactly what this is. So this is like all of my emotions in one bobbin, just right here, sitting, taking up space. And I'm super, 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 super excited to two-ply this and see how it comes out. Because that's what I really love about hand spun. Like, as soon as you're done plying it and you go through the process of making it into yarn, like, I don't know, but like, I don't want to use my hand spun because it's just, like, I do want to use it, don't get me wrong, like, I do have plans for my hand spun, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's just so beautiful to see the end result and the product that I just don't want to like make anything just with it just yet. But I do have plans to make items with my hand spun, just because how do I know the quality of the yarn if I'm not actually knitting with it? So I'm planning on making some like mittens or something simple, like fingerless mittens for this year. And yeah, I'm thinking of using this yellow yarn that I showed you that I just made. I'm thinking of either making this or even actually using these magenta. This magenta would be really, really, really nice. The yellow would be really, really nice, but then I would have to make like this. This is another yellow skein that I had of hand spun, but this is this somebody else spun for me, and it's kind of like a worsted weight. And I'm thinking maybe I'll use these two together because they're just in the same color family. But my friend Max, the guy who dyed this, he's Knitting Fagala on Instagram. He actually spun this for me. And this is fiber, Wensleydale fiber, that it was the first fiber that I ever, it was the first fiber I ever dyed. So this yarn is the first yarn I ever dyed. And this is when I was learning to drop spindle, and I never finished the whole 4 ounces on the drop spindle, so I gave some to my friend Max, and he made it for me because he had a wheel. So I think these two would be really special together just because this is his bat and his colors, and it's my hand spun, and this is my hand dyed and his hand spun. So that's definitely going to be something special. And I'll show that combo again. And I think it goes really, really well together. I don't know what I'll make with this, but I definitely think these two are going to go together in something. I love it. It's so cute. Yeah, so that is what I've been making. Just a little intermittent announcement here. The shop is open, so yeah, it took me a little bit of a while to put it back up and running, and I did put an announcement up on my Instagram, but just so my YouTube followers know, like, the shop is open. Definitely go and visit www.hubcityfibers.com if you're interested in some yarns. And if you're interested in me carrying some hand spun, please let me know in the comments. I definitely will start putting up some of the hand spun that I make if you guys are interested. So let me know. I'm thinking about adding that to my Nitty City trunk show that's coming up in November, but I'll talk about that more in the next episode. So moving on to events, I will be going to this event the second Friday of the month of October. So this event in Asbury Park, New Jersey, which is a really charming beach town in New Jersey, hosts this amazing event in the Asbury Hotel, in this like beautiful mid-century modern hotel. Love the place because I like to grab cocktails there. It's a really good cocktail bar too. And just in general, the town just is filled with all these really cutesy restaurants and just like a good vibe. Like if you're ever looking to just have a good time, definitely visit Asbury Park. It's just such a classic town. But every second Friday of the month, they're hosting this event here, and this October, I will be hosting a giveaway at Knit in the Pit and showcasing a mystery, like a little mystery box. Or it's not going to be a mystery, I'm sorry. It's going to be like an open box just because I want everybody to see it. And I'll be displaying some Hub City fibers in a nice like box. And I've made some special stitch markers by hand with some beads. And I'm going to be putting it in this coffin shaped box and doing some other creepy stuff. And yeah, if you guys want to know more, definitely stop by if you live in New Jersey because it's going to be an awesome time. It's honestly such a lively crowd and it's a lot of fun. I didn't get to talk to a lot of people just because I didn't stay all the way until the end because there was a bonfire on the beach that I really wanted to attend, so I ended up doing that after with my husband and my in-laws. It was a lot of fun. They live in Asbury, so I met up with them and it was just a lot of fun. So yeah, if you guys are in the area, please come and stop by and knit and enter for a chance to win, or raffle, I should say, a Hub City Fibers Halloween box. And this is just a glimpse of the yarn that I'm going to include in the box. So that's all I will say about that. I want to just like tell you about someone that I'm following in the knitting community that I really admire and who's inspiring me. So this month I fell into following Carbon Soup, and they are a crafter located in, I don't know where they're located, but I really like their page because they are, like, from what I've known from scrolling through their page, like, they are big they're hand spinners, or yeah, they are hand spinner, and they only knit with their own yarn, and I find that really, really cool. Like, I don't know, it was just really inspiring to like spin more, and I really love seeing like the process of like spinning and like just the slower progression of making something as simple as a pair of socks. So I went ahead and messaged them, and I asked them if I can talk about them on the podcast. So I don't know if they'll tune in to watch, but yeah, definitely follow Carbon Soup. Their page is awesome. And that's all I'll say. The next thing I want to jump into, and the final thing, if you guys are interested, is my trip to Spain. Yes, it was a really relaxing time. I actually got these fun earrings, these medallion earrings while I was there, and I got them as souvenirs for everybody. And I really, really love them. And pretty much, I went to Spain and it was fantastic. It was super relaxing. The trip started off with me and my husband and 2 of our friends. And it was really, really, really nice because we were sharing an apartment and eating tapas, which is something that is definitely more fun if you do with a group of people. And it's really nice to just go back to go to a country where people kind of think, like, slow things down and just like take moment by moment rather than rushing through every part of your life, which I feel like that's the kind of the life that I live now. Like, I just rush from one thing to the next, and I really don't have any time to kind of just like slow down and, well, besides what I'm creating and crafting. But it just reminded me that like you shouldn't rush through like eating and talking with the people that live around you, and not to kind of rush those processes, because that's what life's all about. So that was pretty much my takeaway from my visit from Barcelona. But I did also get to visit all of the main attractions. We went to all the tourist sites, the Sagrada Familia, which is this beautiful church by this famous architect who helped design, or his family was very well known in Barcelona, and pretty much there's a lot of attractions in Barcelona that are made by him, and his name is Gaudi, and it's a very particular style. He does a lot of mosaic style work, and it's pretty funky and modern, and it's actually really, really cool. Like, I'll try to post a couple photos here of like some of the things that I saw. Pretty much we stayed in Airbnbs. We did not stay in hotels, which is something that I highly recommended. So we stayed in Eixample, which is like the Brooklyn of Barcelona, with our 2 friends, and then they left, and Steve and I had 2 days to hang out, and we actually went to another Airbnb that was in kind of like a smaller section of Barcelona, which has more of a less touristy feel, if that makes sense, and it was kind of closer to the beach, and I loved that segment of the trip, because it was like being a local. It was really, really nice, and we just chilled and went to the beach, and it was relaxing, and you know, we kind of got to soak in that whole taking it easy and just slowing down. And yeah, I also had the opportunity to visit this awesome this awesome knitting shop, and that brings me to when I visited All You Knit Is Love. And I'm gonna actually pop a vlog right here of the entire vlog of me visiting this yarn shop in Barcelona. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Hey guys, so I am walking to a yarn shop here in Barcelona, and I will take you guys with me. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll show you a souvenir that I got. So, All You Knit Is Love. She gave me this little bag, and the yarn shop owner, her name was Jennifer. She was from Arizona, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, like, are all these yarn shop owners that live in Europe from the USA? Like, that's, you know, La Vietnamese is American. So is West Knits, and he owns a yarn shop in Amsterdam. Barcelona, this woman's from Arizona, Jennifer. And who else? I can't think of any other yarn shops abroad that are owned by Americans, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But anyway, yeah, this is her yarn shop, and I really loved her bag a lot, and I definitely want to create something with this. But this pattern that she includes, which is like a Farrell pattern, it's called the Panot pattern. And the thing that's really funny about that is that the streets in Barcelona have this pattern on the floor. So, like, what if you live in New York City, it's just cement and it's straight and there's nothing. But in Barcelona, this is like a little tile, and it's like spread out, and the whole floor is of this pattern. So I found that really cool, because I definitely want to make like a blanket and add a square that is of that pattern. And so we did buy some goodies, and by we I mean Steve and me, because I bought something and then he bought something. So me and Steve have been, you know, teetering on the fact of whether or not we want to invest in a loom. So our lovely friend Max, who has a rigid heddle loom for weaving, is going to let us borrow it and create something. So since Steve's like been obsessed with weaving, he went ahead and chose some cotton yarn that we purchased for his project, and I just want to show you. And this is just some simple white cotton organic yarn from Barcelona. This one's made in Italy, and this one's made, I think, also in Italy. But yeah, he's thinking about creating something with, I'm pretty sure he wants to create like a small kitchen towel. So I think this would be, I told him cotton would be best. And yeah, I think that's what he's gonna make with this. So that's super exciting. And I thought it was fun for him to shop, because I'm reserving myself for Rhinebeck this year. I hope you guys are excited. Rhinebeck's just right around the corner. So I'm super excited about that. Oh, and this is her card, and I thought that this was so freaking genius. She puts like a gauge and then like where she's located, because where she's located is like in the Gothic Center. It's not the Gothic, I'm not sure if it's the Gothic region of Barcelona, but it's like, looks just like the Gothic Center. And it's in like these little roads that is like walkable. Anyways, if you saw the vlog, you would know what I'm talking about. But I loved her business card. I thought that was really quite clever. And I also decided to buy these really cute buttons. And it's these handmade buttons by someone in Spain who makes them for her and her shop. And they're velvet. They look like velvet. And I wanna create like a cardigan, so I'm gonna save these, and hopefully I can find a cardigan that only has 4 buttons. I probably should have gotten 8, but yeah. That was my haul from Barcelona, and that about wraps up this episode of episode 18 of Hub City Fibers podcast. If you guys like what you saw, definitely hit the subscribe button, and you know, definitely visit me on Instagram, which is where I'm mostly active. And yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Bye.